And we're live. Yay. That means it is time for Leading Women Weekly. I am Yalanda. I'm going to point over there to Miss
You can point over here.
Angela. Yeah, I'm like, which way? She's over there. So if
I
I
like
was
to
to
think
look
about
like
it.
that, it's almost like I'm talking to you. Okay, hopefully
Yeah,
that
yeah.
works.
See, if I look like this, then we can be like
Yeah, like let's do that
this.
time again. You can tell rest has done us well, y'all. Rest
Mm-hmm.
has served us well. Angela, I did take a couple of days off. We were trying to barrel through because we actually went live or came live to you guys a day before Thanksgiving. And then the week after Thanksgiving, we're like, oh, okay, wait, we need a break. And then, of course, last week, Angela had a doctor's appointment, and I had a chance to go into the city. And so, Georgia is still front and center on this election thing. Because even when they went, the Secretary of State's office went live this afternoon, Angela, I was like, why? Then I was like, oh, we got a highly contested race going on. In fact,
Yeah.
I think we're either going to go vote tonight or tomorrow.
Um,
Uh, Maybe tomorrow.
they
Um,
said, yeah. So
go ahead.
an interesting statistic on that. Sorry to not be looking at you while I'm setting this up.
No.
The There were more people early voted on Monday than early voted in the main
Wow. Are you
election.
serious? Are
Yep.
you serious? Now, the question is, will this part come that once we get to January, will they accept the results right away, or we have to go back through what we just went through
I
now, trying to get everything certified?
Yeah, I don't think that we'll see that problem here. There's just with the with yeah, I don't think so. I mean, although they've Leffler and Purdue could, if they wanted to decide, they've seen
As
the
they love
playbook
to
now.
say, yeah, well
Yeah,
within
they
their rights to request,
and if
all
it's
this that, and
close, it
the
could be a recount, and they could
other.
challenge whatever. I noticed that Secretary Raffensperger was, our Secretary of State was checking. Finally agreed to do what they're calling a signature audit on the absentee
I saw
ballots,
that.
and in Cobb here where I live, and part of me was like, oh, I don't give in, and then I was like, you know what, he actually, the decisions that he's made, he has tried to ward off these things. I mean,
Hmm.
it hasn't worked, but to do a small audit and then he can come back
Hmm.
and say, yeah, it's fine. So that I thought he's doing this in advance of January, so that if
Okay.
they come
Okay.
back and say the signature process is flawed, he can say, no,
Right.
we've already done. I think that's why he decided to do it, was
Yeah.
he's
And
trying
I
to
kind of
ward off problems.
I thought also he needed to show some alliance to the party.
Oh, absolutely,
So he
absolutely,
needed to act a little bit Republican.
for
Okay.
sure. And I had a thought. I was funny how you sit around. I'm like, gosh, I saw somebody tweet today. I went a whole day and didn't think about Joe Biden as president,
Hmm.
and said, and I'm so
Hmm.
happy. I mean, I just want to go a day and not think about any of these people,
Not
right?
think about any of
But
it
I'm like in the
exactly.
kitchen working, thinking about Raffensperger and the Georgia election, like,
Hmm.
and I thought, his mistake as a Republican was, he's an engineer. His
Hmm.
professional background is he's an engineer. And when
Hmm.
the pandemic hit, he acted and thought like an engineer and not like a politician. And so
Hmm.
he actually said, let me make sure this is going to run. What makes sense as an engineer to make this
Hmm.
process run smoothly so as many people can vote, rather than saying, here's my opportunity to disenfranchise the vote. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's, to me, is really, really sad that this is what it's come to. But
Come
I
to
mean,
right.
but to your point, he has not really acted like a politician, and he may just have decided, I need to act a little bit like a politician if I ever think I'm going to get reelected. But honestly,
Exactly. Exactly. There it is. Because
yeah,
he said a couple of times the position of being Secretary of State, is running the managing the election, is bipartisan, is nonpartisan, but
nonpartisan,
still
yeah,
you are a Republican, and you're under a Republican governor, and
yeah,
and all this kind of stuff. And this is a big deal because it is a change of guard, and it's something that Georgia that didn't happen often in the
yeah.
state, and so all eyes are on us. I'm just interested in when I'm looking at people on a national and even on the international level, wondering and asking, what's going on in your state over there, and having to answer those questions because usually we're at the beginning. Our numbers are out there, and people are done with us. But to the point that we just had our president-elect Joe Biden was here yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't get President Obama here, with the exception of a few fundraisers and then a couple of visits, around election time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still wondering, because I remember the one event that I went out to cover, or had a chance to cover because of all that I was going through at the time, was when Barack Obama came and he was talking about education and middle class, and the expense of getting an education here in America, and how much it plays on middle class families. The talk he gave at Georgia Tech, nonetheless. And I was really watching to see where that goes. And now you see, I think we're going to see a lot of Joe Biden picking up, trying to close that gap, and where the legacy should have gone or left off and so forth. The last 4 years notwithstanding the hurdle that it is. I think people are anxiously awaiting to find out, even just in this, what kind of relief on the student debt system, that situations that's going to happen, which actually seems more or less tied to the pandemic, more so than a legacy of the Obama administration and then the Biden administration. Just basically things that need to happen. And I feel bad for the Biden administration, not just Joe Biden, but there are people who are going to go into all of these different leadership positions after people that Trump appointed, and all of this infrastructure that is literally fallen by the wayside over the last 4 years because of the inept people that he placed in charge of them. And so right in there, getting everything right side up and back on its axis, it's going to take a while. Hopefully less than the first 2 years, because after that we're right back into this thing. And you really only have the next 2 years to get stuff done, because you got the election coming up in 2 years of the other half of the Congress, and then Biden and Kamala will have to then go right back into getting reelected. So I really hope that we can look to this. And I know people are saying, well, should we look to this as a third term of the Obama? Yeah, because this is vice president.
It really is.
And they're supposed to have been in sync or succinct on a number of issues. So it should be. Speaking of Obama, you have us reading what?
Oh my God. I feel like I'm lost in the wilderness trying to get to the promised land. This is a long book.
Girl, I was listening in real time because I wanted to hear the voice. Yeah, honey, I have sped that up, girl.
He's a slow talker, like he's a slow walker.
Promise.
I'm just like, okay. I mean, and I keep looking and I'm like, I'm listening to this all the time. How am I not? How do I still have 20 hours?
Are you on? Because you started it.
Yeah.
Angela.
I don't know where I am. I still feel like I've still got 20 hours.
And I'll say this to everybody. It's not a hard listen at all. It's not. It's a very easy listen. It's everything you wanted to know. Yeah. But it's President Barack Obama having this real casual conversation with us.
Yep.
And I'm like, did he just say that? Did he? Girl.
Oh yes. This is it though. He said, you're like, oh, I mean, the first time he dropped an F-bomb, I was like, oh. And I will drop the F-bomb 5 times a day.
I'm gonna blush here in a minute, because I mean, y'all, the former president, this is the memoir. But he's always alluded to being just that cool, laid back kind of guy. And what you and I talked about the last time, we always talked about from Michelle Obama's book. Because first of all, let me tell you guys, the fact that Angela and I are doing this came out of Michelle Obama's book, Becoming Michelle Obama. And we decided, Angela said, let's read the book. Angela then got tickets to go and see. She invited me along. And I said, well, in anticipation of that, why don't we podcast? And then we turn that into this broadcast. And we kind of embedded into the Obama.
It's true. We are the DNA of this is
Right.
Obama DNA, right? We have got Obama DNA. We got Obama and Oprah DNA in
I'm
this.
telling you, yeah, because our other association
That's like our
is
parents.
Oprah, and because
That's our
I
parents.
think we are becoming what they work so hard for,
Yes.
all of them,
Mm-hmm.
at any level. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about is the Michelle Obama, she was still tempered. Barack Obama is giving me some language here. Michelle Obama was still kind of tempered
Proper.
and
Yeah.
cautious, proper, right? Barack, on the other hand, Michelle is probably going, I know you didn't. I know you didn't put that out there. I know
Right.
you
I know.
didn't. Tell me you
Yeah.
didn't do this. Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, and I'm like, I feel like Barack wrote his with like a a whiskey beside him. It's like a little bit like
And a cigarette, even though he's
a
new
cigarette, and
non-smoker.
a sip of whiskey every once in a while, loosen him up
Girl.
because I was like,
Okay.
there's you're like, well, hello,
Right.
and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but it's it's oh, and
It's good.
it's very
It's
good,
good.
and
But you know what? George Bush book was good. It's good like this.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because you get
I
behind.
yeah.
Well, I had to because I
Yeah.
always thought there was something else there with
Well,
him.
I think
Um,
any other than Trump, any presidential memoir would be interesting just to hear
right.
their perspective on what it was like, and
Mhm.
so I certainly think that I bet it was was really good. But yeah, no, I mean it's a long. I mean, it's a long book, but I mean, absolutely
Yeah.
enjoyable and worth it. And
Well, look at where
I did
I
take a
mean,
little
he
bit of a
started
break.
at birth. He started at
Oh, he's
birth.
go
He did
and he
childhood.
no, it's he go,
I'm just now up
yeah.
to where he's deciding to run for president. So I
Okay,
just got to the
I'm
part where
right.
he was in the Senate and so
Right.
forth.
So I'm up to where they've won. So
Okay.
they and that whole piece to parallel it with Michelle's take on the campaign and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they've won. They are dealing with a financial crisis. So
Yes.
it's
Okay.
with what we've been through in this last year, it's easy to forget that 2008
Mm-hmm.
was an economic the economy, we were on the ground, we were on the verge of a complete economic
We
collapse by the end of the
were.
year.
We
And
were.
so it's interesting to hear because we had November 2008 was the big stock market crash, to hear what they were doing and how McCain and Bush, the Bush
Mm-hmm.
administration, McCain and the McCain campaign and the Obama campaign were all trying to work together
Mm-hmm.
to be prepared for whoever took over. Talk about the anti what we're seeing now with transition.
Right.
They were
Right.
prepping them for transition before the election, so that whoever came on board would be up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting that some of the politicking that went on there, with that, but that ultimately it was, they were trying to make sure that it was going to be a smooth transition. So I'm to the point now. I'm to the inauguration. So the girls are sliding down the ramp with the
Mm-hmm.
Bush girls, and in the
Okay.
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that picture.
You know the interesting thing on that when I can't wait to get to that part
Mm-hmm.
because I remember right before 9/11, and the only reason we did not have the financial collapse totally during the Bush administration was simply
Yeah, because of
because
breach. Right.
9/11, because
Yeah.
9/11 happened. And I remember the morning of 9/11, people were waiting to figure out where this country was because when you think
Mm-hmm.
about the transfer of power from Clinton over to Bush, and Clinton supposedly with all this surplus and everything was good, that was kind of a veil. I personally, I don't believe that. I know from my community there were so many resources ripped from the community in order to create this surplus.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like the Clintons, and I still don't. Okay,
Right.
and I felt like there was something in a ball being dropped or something not truthful in the transfer from Clinton to Bush.
Right.
Because I remember the conversations that were being had that even we as a family had, and things that were going on in the workforce and everywhere the day before 9/11.
Uh-huh.
And when the first plane hit on 9/11, the first conversation was, okay, here's the distraction. Because you're thinking tiny plane hit the financial center,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That was the first thought. And it was
Right.
until it became, oh, wait, this is an attack. We are under attack. And it went another way. And then it went crazy from there, the whole war. And,
Right.
none of it made sense. But it did keep the country from financial collapse. But then again, like you said, between transferring over to from Bush to Obama,
Yeah.
we had to get back on track to that because jobs were needed. Because remember, we say 2008, the onset of Twitter. The top trends was
Mm-hmm.
lost my house, lost my
Yep.
job, or
Yep.
you lost family members in the war. Those were the
Yep.
three things that was going on during the Bush administration, and you cannot find an American or an immigrant who was here, anybody on this soil at that time who did not experience one of the three or know somebody so closely adjacent to that in that time. And
Right.
so during the Obama time, came and all these different resources and rebuilding of the economy was a thing and so forth. And guys, listen, let me tell you, we're just going to have kind of a casual day, just a few minutes here. Angela and I, along with this amazing book by this former president that we are both over here blushing as we talk about, we're going to jump on Clubhouse. We have got invites to Clubhouse this week, and I couldn't use my dryer buzz because I had reserved dryer buzz, hoping that I'll get in. But then when the
Right.
invitation came,
It didn't
I
come to
couldn't use
that.
dryer buzz. It didn't come to that. It came to
Can you
something else.
invite Dryer Buzz yourself?
Well,
Can't you?
I'm trying to figure out. Well, how did I don't know what I signed up on a phone number or
Right.
email. It seems to be driven by the phone number. But let's talk a little bit about that. And for
Yeah,
those of you that
yeah.
are watching around, if you're on, I haven't even done a share or a watch party. It doesn't look like we need to because people are on with us. But let me see. I don't feel like
And
doing.
look, and I want to apologize for constantly looking away. I'm trying to get us. So we're going to go on Clubhouse, right? So we're going to we're going to go on Clubhouse, and my plan of how I was going to do it is
Change.
massively failing. So I'm over here trying to get a phone to update.
Well,
but
you just need a phone.
I have a plan. I'll switch over to my laptop for this broadcast, and then I can use the phone that I'm on because I'm broadcasting from my phone. So
you broadcast from your phone.
Yeah, so I'll just switch over. I have my laptop right here.
Oh, that's right, because Clubhouse is
just a phone app, right? It's just
phone app for iPhone at that, right?
Oh, is it? Because give us a little background, Yalanda, because
I knew you were going to say that, and I was kind of relying on you. Well, I'll tell you what I know.
You go ahead, and then I'll tell you what I know.
And I can only tell you as an end user, I have not gone, down the Simi Valley route to get the full background. There were some numbers that were dropped. This development of this, it is a audio driven app, and for anybody that's been around prior to Twitter, it harkens back to some of the technologies. Remember, we talked about the tech junkyard, Mark Zuckerberg and others going to the tech junkyard, people who had to abandon these platforms. To me, it feels like a platform that we were on in the 90s and 80s. Now, that's not to say it feels old school. It feels old school, but it's, recycled technology of just virtual rooms with audio. You can't text, you can't comment. If you really want to engage, you've got to be willing to get on the mic, as we love to say, get on the mic. And so there's no video yet. So let me tell you, the best platform ever in the history of social media was Pal Talk back in the day, in the early 90s, late 90s, I guess I should say. And so this is like that. If you've been around, you like the Blabs and all those kind of things, anything that was audio driven, audio focused, this is it. They've got, I see some wins. I also see some fails. One, their I think first evaluation they did, the first evaluation about $100 million. To me, that says that okay, they're not quite there, because if they were they would have gotten the $1 billion. The $1 billion, right. The number one prize in coming with an app is $1 billion. Somebody willing to offer you $1 billion of either funding and not revenue or anything like that, but funding, like here, take it and run with it. What I love about it, just using it just a couple of days, is the variety of content that's there. I started today. I got invited into a room, and they was like, "Oh, here's what you want to do on here, to go jump out there and get your clout and all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, whatever, all that." But then I went into another room, that was on the tech side, people who are developing apps. I listened to a little bit of that, and then as I was getting ready to take my shower to get ready, which I showered today with a mocha, which is now brown skin girl.
Mm,
And let me tell you, the lather on that is insane. But anyway, so I went into the DJ room.
mm,
And so, and he was doing it. What I remember about the old school audio social media, they would quickly evolve into karaoke and all these. It seems to be, this could be a win for them
right.
if the rooms stay consistent. What, let me tell you what I don't like about it. I don't like that it's, here is another platform driven by following. I
Yeah.
think it's so time to get rid of that. Like, it
Yeah.
it has to become, if you've got a room or people in your room, that's it, right? How many people are in your room and how long are you holding somebody according to attention span? That should be 2020. That should be 2025. That should be the next decade, right? That's what influence is about, because we've learned a lot about utilizing influencers out there. People are like, oh, they got a million billion following, but can they hold an attention
Well,
span? Can they
and
cause a purchase and so forth? Go ahead.
this should be the perfect platform to determine engagement, because
Engagement.
you see
Exactly.
who's in there, right? You
You
see
see
how
who's
many people are
in.
there, and it's there is it participation requires an action of the organizers, right? So like I say, I've not looked at how you set up a room or anything like that, but so you come into a room. So like if we were on Clubhouse right now and we're talking, just like we do with StreamYard, we invite people to join us and they go into a green room. As I'm understanding how Clubhouse is working, right?
Mhm.
You can have people designated to be speaking, one or more, and then people, the audience, somebody can raise their hand to join, but you don't just join. It's not randomly, right? You have to be opted in to join the audio piece. And also it can't be recorded, which I find to be
I
an
didn't notice
interesting
that.
piece, is that there is no recording option. It's live.
Oh,
It's
okay, you mean like on the person that's
no,
hosting
I
the
mean,
room,
you can,
you
anybody
don't
can
record
record anything,
it.
right?
Yeah.
But it does
And that
not,
could be a way that they
it
could
doesn't
scale and
save it.
monetize.
Right.
Yeah,
It
that
doesn't save it. Right.
okay.
So, and to your point, like say, if you could repeat so let's say that we're having this, like we're recording this, we're going to reuse it. If we're on Clubhouse, that's just in the ether, right? It's one and done. And so I
Hmm.
understand that notion of driving immediacy of the platform,
I
but
like that.
also, there will be a lot of people who would have, post show engagement or post room engagement, because I
And
guess
when
they're
I
talking
when
about
I
rooms.
think back to Pal Talk, it wasn't a thing about recording it. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and this was Pal Talk was my life. I would come home, get on my laptop. I would never turn on the television unless there was something about a discussion. We were in a room. I
Right.
mean, that was whole 2 decades of my life
Wow.
on that. Like everyone I knew, all of my friends, I log
Mm-hmm.
off to go to work, you
Right.
know. But every other waking hour, I
That's
was
so
in one of those.
interesting.
In one of those, and people, I mean, they called us crazy. They thought we were crazy.
Yeah. Well,
They, I
and
mean, every essence, from worship, from
mm,
social, from
mm,
dating,
mm.
from every aspect of my life was virtual from
So,
the 90s until 2008 when Twitter came along. And Twitter
right.
came along a little bit before that, but when because Twitter
Right.
wasn't social, Twitter wasn't a
Right.
social platform. It was an app. It was a place that you could update on all the other social platforms until it
Mm-hmm.
became allowed. They started allowing us to have conversations or speak back and forth to each other on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, and not until so from '98 to 2008, I lived an absolute virtual life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean everything with the exception of logging off to go to work. Okay,
Wow.
or anything else, mom and household stuff and all that. Uh, my phone, there was always sound coming from my laptop. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
my desktop or whatever. But that was my life. I mean, literally. So I'm excited about it. And I'm excited to go and see the array of stuff that's there. All right, it is 2, and we're already 2 minutes late of going over there.
All right. So I
You
tell you
need to
what,
go. You need to
I'm gonna
switch.
switch. So I'm gonna switch.
Okay.
I'm gonna sign off here and sign on. I'm gonna come back into on StreamYard, and
Okay.
then I'll be on Clubhouse. So I'm trying to figure out the most elegant way to do this. So yeah. So
You
I'll
want
come
me
on
to, you want me to
over.
remove
Yep.
you here, and then okay. So I'm gonna remove Angela there. When you come back in on the other one, all right. So this is what Clubhouse looks like on my end, and I'm gonna start this room, and it's just a start room. So I'm gonna start the room and see what we got. I got StreamYard in this ear. I've got Clubhouse in this one. Angela's going to switch, and she will come and there's the room there. My pictures, you can see the picture kind of vibrating, showing that there is sound. So there is sound in the room, and I've got one other person that I follow, and I guess this is a thing. Let's see. I think I'll try and invite somebody, and then there's a raise the hand thing. So my hand is raised, and the mic, and I can actually mute myself so that it's no other. Let's see. There's three dots said that's to end the room, and then now while I'm starting this, even though it's just me, we are on the general tab, or I love how they say in the hallway, because that's again some when you're not in the room, you're in the hallway. Give me a sound test, Angela.
Okay. Can you?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Okay, a little low. If you can turn your, I don't know if I can turn your volume up, you can turn your volume up.
Let's see.
So, and now, Angela, I guess, do I need to ping you to get you to come in? It says, okay, ping Angela via messages.
All right.
Angela's notifications are currently off, so we can't reach them for you.
Hang on a second and let me move. Let me open Clubhouse
The
and I
message.
can see it. Can you hear me okay? How's my volume?
I got you good on
Okay.
StreamYard.
All right.
All
Hang
right.
on here. And
one thing about this, guys, you can't hang. There's no comments. You can't hang out in the comments. What happens is, and Angela, we both
I'm
have.
here.
Okay, now I'm getting you in both places.
Same.
All right.
I love that both of us cracked up at the same time.
Because we're both in stereo, guys. So I've got one platform in this ear, one. But Angela, notice how synced it is. There's no delay.
No delay. Yep.
So
That's amazing.
wow, there is no delay
Wait,
on
let me do mine
Clubhouse,
too.
y'all. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So yeah, show we can show what it looks like, right? Got the little.
That's her phone, and that's my phone.
And I noticed that there's a little leave quietly button because I popped into a couple of rooms. I don't know how would you leave loudly on this, but anyway.
I know. I guess if you went into just instead of leaving, if you open up another room,
Oh,
I did that too earlier. I was like, wait, is that some form of disrespect to the host,
right.
and so forth? So what happens is there's three tiers. Like if somebody comes in and they raise their hand, you can then elevate them to become a speaker. So anybody popping in will just automatically hear Angela. Now, let me tell you, the audio quality on these rooms are
Excellent.
amazing, absolutely amazing.
Excellent.
Excellent. So somebody would come in to the room, and I shared it out earlier. Let me see. There is some kind of note thing of community guidelines, and this is all rooms. And I love that it's just a clean screen. Belinda Garrett is watching. Hey, Belinda came in. So I love that. I love that. I mean, because I was listening and I so wanted to like drop a comment somewhere. And I'm like, oh no, you can't even comment. You literally have to engage. You want to engage, you got to engage. There's no, because I was thinking like, oh, the text, there were a comment section, the text warriors will be just going crazy. But you're literally in the audience. And then you can be elevated. You can elevate people to the speaker side. So if anybody wants to check us out, try us out. So right now, and what I most love about this is it plays very well outside the app. That is what I fell in love with, because, especially since it is mobile, since it's a mobile thing, that I didn't want to stay in the platform. I still want to go check my Twitter. I still want to go check all of my other stuff, and to take this audio with the win for this is the audio quality.
So, okay. So when you say plays well outside the app, you mean you can still be doing other things and it's
that.
still playing. Okay.
I hear
Okay.
you perfectly.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So there's that. So and but again, like you said, it's not saving. So I hadn't even thought about that. But that's just a whole nother thing. It's like, especially for something you want to keep fresh, like, because most of your content wise, you need to deliver that each and every time. Even if you're gonna talk about the same thing, you need to deliver it in real time and build a
Well,
following.
I saw one that like I said, I was just roaming the hallways is what they call it, right? I was browsing and I saw
Mm-hmm.
something that was 2-minute
Oh,
tech
wait,
update.
I have to keep that in. I'm trying to figure out one of these to take out my ear. Go ahead.
Right. I'm doing the same thing, but then I lose my mic. Well, I guess I'll take the Clubhouse out if you need to
Take
hear me.
Clubhouse out. Okay, let's take Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, there
Because
we go.
if nobody's joining us, then we don't need that one, right?
Oh, wait,
But
I gotta go keep both in. I don't know.
okay, well,
But no, because the mic, I don't need to monitor myself and they can hear us. Okay, good. All
right.
right,
If
we're good.
somebody joins, well, it's true. If somebody's listening, I mean, can we tell when somebody joins us? I think so, right? If somebody
But
comes
when
into the room,
their profile will be there, somebody will,
right? So
their
we'll
profile
know
will
if
be
somebody's there. Maybe I can tuck that. So I'm just thinking so that the microphone, because I'm using the mic. Anyway, I was just it was like 2-minute tech update, right? And it was 4 or 5 people, and they were doing like it was. So again, 2-minute tech update on something, right? And so I click
there.
in,
Mhm.
and and so it looked to me like each one of them was going to do 20 seconds, 30 seconds, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, 2 minutes, I'll watch that, right? And there were people involved. I was like, okay, I can see how, like you're saying, something that's just like these. Well, what did I ask you? I said, is this TikTok for audio, right? And I'm like, I can envision this as TikTok for audio. We've been talking about the fact that everybody's attention span has just become like, and this
Mhm.
from
From TikTok.
from TikTok, right? Especially, I don't watch a lot of TikTok other than on other platforms, but people I know, grown-ups like me, gray heads like me, that are like, I can't even watch a YouTube video anymore. They seem too long, right? 3 minutes seems
Mhm.
long.
Mhm.
So I thought the same thing with podcast and audio. So this lets you do the quick snippet, I would think, and then you can promote your longer whatever. So I'm
Mhm.
like, sure, I'm going to do that. But I could also imagine that you'd set up, like you're talking about a DJ, just roll it all day. It's just going, going, going. People come in and out of your conversation, which
Mhm.
I think is interesting for our approach and what we do, right? Is that we have, all kinds of conversations. So and have ongoing long conversations where we bring in different topics. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I've not had, and it is invitation only right now. So I was really thrilled. Yolanda got the invite. She invited me. And I'm assuming it's because they're still, are they considered to still be in their beta and their?
It still says beta. What I see us doing, because we still need to do our broadcast, but
Oh,
you and I
absolutely.
both know, even after we jump off here,
We have a whole nother
we
show.
we
The
have a
two of
whole
us.
right, after show. I
Yeah,
was
the after
thinking, and I
show.
know we had to jump off today at 2:30 because I got a
Yeah.
delivery and I've got to cook and I've got all this. But I'm thinking of after show because we were thinking at what other time of the day could we do. What I like about this is it being audio, that we don't have to get dressed. Okay. Um,
Absolutely.
and with us, as far as I think I see it for breaking news, for breaking
Yes. Yes.
conversations. Um, you know, I mean, there's so much possibility with it. If it survives, if it thrives, now I can see
Well,
it thriving. Go ahead.
yes, I think you know what I'm going to say. The best thing that happened to it was Kevin Hart, and
Now, explain to me. You mentioned that. What was the Kevin Hart part?
Kevin Hart went on there. There was a room that somebody had called "Is Kevin Hart Funny?" And you didn't. So this was after this thing of this talking about his
The
daughter
show.
having hoish ways, right? And
Mm-hmm,
everybody's like,
mm-hmm,
"What is wrong with you, Kevin Hart?" And
mm-hmm.
to which I will say, Dryer Buzz posted, "It has Kevin Hart not been telling you who he is?"
Right. I
Anyway,
was like, stop asking Kevin Hart to explain Kevin
that's it.
Hart.
You stop
Stop.
asking Kevin Hart to explain himself. Well, he went into this clubhouse. I don't know if he was invited to do like an interview, right? So somebody was doing an interview, he did an interview, and then he saw that maybe they said it to him that there was this room called "Is Kevin Hart Funny?" So he went on there, right? And participated with it and basically offended and insulted women who were in the clubhouse and
Mm-hmm.
said, and it's like Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart. But that created a controversy that made it into, at least into my Twitter feed, right? And I had
Mhm.
seen little snippets about Clubhouse, and I'm like, I knew it was a platform. I just didn't know what it was. But this whole Kevin Hart thing, I was like, well, what in the world is this? And how does that work? And then that's how I saw it was invite only. So that would have been a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was not that long ago, but I thought that little bit of controversy got discussions about Clubhouse just into a broader timeline for sure if it's in my feed. Now, I want to ask you this, Yalanda, about the platform. Now, some of this is probably about how my Twitter timeline is configured, right? But I am
Mhm.
seeing the people I see talking about Clubhouse are Black, right? It's Black Twitter that I see talking about being in Clubhouse. Is this,
Uh,
what are you noticing? I mean, when I was looking around,
I
I
don't know
did
what
look at,
happened.
yeah, I mean, I was like, I thought maybe this was a Black owned app, you know?
I thought it was too. Because I'm like, okay, am I only seeing black people because of my algorithms? I'm like, what's going on? And I know I did an interview.
They're not talking about.
Right. But you know what? But I'm saying I did an interview. I was actually doing an interview on Sheer Social a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago.
right, I saw that. Yeah.
And we were talking about it. And I think that there was some backlash. I think when it started, there was none. And
Mm-hmm.
so then there was, from what I heard through one of the clubhouse, is there was a push to get African Americans on there. And of course, we dominate wherever we go. So
Absolutely.
I think there's a domination going
Yeah.
on right now. I don't know where all the white guys went. I do see a couple of them co-moder. I think there's some co-moderation.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, there's a couple of rooms I was looking at that had women in there. But when you go into a room, let me see if I can. Well, I guess because we're hosting this one, do we want to? Do you want to
You want
end?
to?
Want to
Yeah, let's
stop?
end this one and
Let's
go
stop.
ahead. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna show. Let me see. In room. Okay. In room. In room.
I want to see what happens. All
Okay.
right.
But when
So,
you go into a room, let me see. And what you don't see is it doesn't like tell you how many people are in the room. So that's again, like, would you go into the room if you knew it had 5 people and this room had 500? That's
right.
something. Well, wait a minute. No, it says okay. There, the number of people are on there. So let me see. Clubhouse is going to destroy Black America.
Well,
I don't
interesting.
know. Wait,
Is
I don't
that
know.
the room?
Hold on,
Is
I
that
put
the
that
name
on
of
the
the
wrong
room?
mic.
Right.
Here's one says Clubhouse is going. Let me just read some of these. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't know. There's a beer parlor at the top. That's 40. All
Oh,
day
I see.
dreaming
Clubhouse is going to
radio.
destroy like her. I have the same
Yeah.
thing.
Social media content creation ideas, and this one has 318 people in there. There's 12, I guess, speaking.
Oh, God. Here's one. Here's one for you, Yolanda. Go on this one. Y'all so beautiful. Ladies, come get praised.
Um, I promise you, I only see black people.
No, this is what I'm looking at, right? And
Hold on.
I am same. Now,
Okay,
I
so
probably,
you click a calendar. You click the calendar at the top, and
although the
there
one I
we
saw in
are.
tech
Oh,
was
look,
was
screenshot,
multicultural.
screenshot. Hold on, let me capture our little room there. So if you can see, this is what we were at the top of the calendar for 2 o'clock, and because that's scheduled our room. And so then there's God and culture.
Okay,
There's
here's
how
some
is your
white
business
people.
ending?
I found some white people.
Where'd you find white people? And I actually have
I
one
found some
saved for
white
2:30.
people.
What room? Wait, and see,
It's called
okay, wait. There
New
is
Club.
hold on, let me show you guys that. So you get an upcoming for you, and then you
Right.
have upcoming, all upcoming, and then
Yeah.
you have my events,
So
things
I
that
have
you
upcoming for you because they've said another white person using
schedule.
behavioral economics to live a good life. Using behavior, I would listen
Okay,
to that.
go in and then send me the ping, so I'll come in. All right, so I'll get a notification here from Angela. She's going to go in, and then in that we are attached, she'll be able to. And so you have a calendar, guys, and it shows you, what's scheduled. And then there is Angela's message inviting me to the room. It says, Angela pinged you. You should join this solo room. Peter McGraw and Evelyn Gosnell are talking about new club using behavior. So it says go to the room.
I'm like, I feel like I should be quiet. I don't guess I can hear him.
I know that's the thing. It's like you immediately feel like you're in the auditorium, but you're muted.
Yeah, look at me looking. The vast majority of people in the audience, though, are also Black. And you know what?
What is that? So
I'm
why?
going.
How is it that? And we know on social
I
media
left that
that
because I can't.
African Americans can dominate worldwide conversation. That was something decided
This
back in when Twitter started. Because
I
it was
would
not.
yeah.
Go
Sorry to
ahead.
overtalk you, Yalanda. I would love to know which influencers drove this adoption by Black audiences, because something happened. Because I went
That
and
was
looked.
I'm trying to
I
remember on sheer social.
because
It
I
was hip hoppers. It was some hip hoppers
yeah.
that they asked to promote it. Come on, I want to say I know I saw one Soldier Boy. I think I almost want to say Snoop Dogg, and of course the Kevin Hart thing. But prior to that, it was the early adopters, think tankers, tech gurus, African American tech gurus
Right.
that were part of to get this thing out there. And I think it had something to do with there was some controversy. There was some definite controversy. And now with the funding, we are in this is funding season right now,
Yeah.
which is why you see Twitter. And we gotta get ready to go, guys. But which is why you see Twitter has finally decided to pull the plug on Periscope. I guess they have said, hey, there's nothing that they can
Wow.
do to bring that platform back. Now, I don't know if that, and I need to find out, does that mean that live video will also leave Twitter, or would they just, usher everybody over to Twitter? Can you still go live via
Well, that's
video
interesting
on
because I stream a lot of stuff, a lot of news on Twitter. But
Mhm.
I'm thinking, like, how do I do it? Is that Twitter is broadcasting the feed of, like
From
breaking news,
Periscope?
ABC,
Right,
C-SPAN,
right.
there'll be, it's not Periscope. Well, I'm like, I'm gonna be looking at Periscope. It's not scopes. It's actually that they are broadcasting feed from these various
Mm-hmm.
from these various
Because you said at the
media.
top of your screen.
Right, right. And
Um,
so a lot of times the breaking news, I go right there because I'm not really using my
But
television a
if
lot.
you look at it, the platform that it's using is Periscope because you still can send the hearts and
Well,
you
that's
see
what I thought. I
stuff.
thought it was on Periscope. So I'm like, they're using, so what will they, I think
Well,
they get a lot of engagement there.
that's the mistake that Twitter made is when they acquired Periscope, they allowed people to sign up either just for Periscope as opposed to forcing you to have a Twitter account. So
Yeah.
that in and of itself, caused an issue because now you've got a whole other separate platform. You've got some people who are on both. You've got some people choosing. I like being live on Twitter, but and because when you are live on Twitter, it is up at the top, and people don't have to
Mm-hmm.
see it in stream and so forth. But I noticed that it was just the views usually came from people after you were live because it was now on your page or in your profile, you could pin it and so forth and so on. But I think if I hope that Clubhouse gets this right, whatever it is, whatever
Same.
they want to be. But I'm telling you, the audio on this thing,
Well,
and if you wanted to, if you just, I mean, the engagement,
my mind is just going, like I'm
Mhm,
thinking of
mhm,
people. I'm like, I got to tell so and so, such and such, they need to get on here, right? Then I'm
mhm.
thinking, who do I want to be on there with, right? Who would I want to be having
Exactly.
conversations with, right? Because I'm just thinking about people that I know who are not at all interested in doing a formal
Right,
broadcast like we
right.
do, but who could have interesting conversations. And to your point, like there's people I've been trying to try to get on the show, right? And they just have standing commitments at this time
Mhm,
of day, and
mhm.
it's just hard for them to do it. So this would be the opportunity for us to pop in with somebody who couldn't be with us at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday and have a conversation with them.
And just
And
react to stuff. I
yep,
see it as almost like I see scheduled stuff on here, and
yep,
there are things that are like I love the whole schedule. I love it's like panel discussions all day.
yep. It is. It's
And
panels. It's panels. I mean, I'm like my conference nerdy self is like, oh my God, I can be in panels all day. And
exactly.
I think I'm like this one on behavioral economics. I'm like, oh my God, I would be tearing that up. I'm like, I love it. And so I just think that I think there's a tremendous potential there.
Mhm.
And I don't know to say
But this
I
is
got
the
to
part
get
that
in
I
there and play
don't
around with
like.
it.
I don't like I want to turn on a notification for something. It says in order to turn on the notification, you got to follow all of the speakers. Well, I don't want to
Yeah,
follow them. I
that's
don't want to
why.
follow
Yeah,
anybody. I don't want to follow anybody else
right,
anymore. I like,
right.
especially like the minute I signed on or I accepted the invitation to join, then here comes all these people are following. I'm like, oh wait, you were already on there. You didn't think about me. It
That's
puts
it.
you in your feelings. But I love following different topics, and I
I'm
think
with
we
you on
have to
that.
craft it. We have to craft it how we want to use it. That's
Yeah.
part of it. But also, you want to know how they want you to use it, so it could really truly be a win for them. But as with every platform, is like I know you create a platform because you want people to do A, B, C, and D. But hell, if Z works,
Right.
become that.
Right.
Okay, that's something we've been trying to drill into Facebook. Let's just talk about Facebook for a second because Sheryl Sandberg was on Tamron Hall's show last week, and worst interview ever because it is. Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg are just two of the worst people
They
because
really don't interview.
they don't interview well because they don't really get. They keep trying to put this facade out there
Yeah.
as if they're out
Yeah.
here trying
Yeah.
really hard to do something. And I actually just got a Clubhouse notification on my calendar for a 2:31. But they keep putting it out there. They want to do something. They want everybody to have the ability to do this and that and the other. And it's just absolute lies. And I wish they would everybody wish they would just come and tell the truth. What do you want to become of Facebook? What do you want to become of having access to all of our data and tracking everything that we do? Stop
Right.
saying that you want to empower us. Yes, Angela and I are empowering leading women coming on here live each day and so forth. But we're open to going to any other platform. We're live on YouTube right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
we have the ability to go a number of other places. We like the engagement that we have here, but we're also over here falling in love with Clubhouse,
I'm like,
and we won't have to get dressed, and all of those things. But again, as Angela pointed out, well, that's not recorded, and we want to repurpose. So I just wish
mm-hmm.
that they get it. I wish they get it. I wish they stop lying to us, and that's what they're doing because what we know out of 2020, and I'm wondering how Facebook is going to do 2021 when the pandemic hit. The most disconnected place that we were in the world was on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everybody had to go where? To Zoom.
Yep.
Everybody went over that wanted to entertain themselves, went to TikTok. And even though Facebook can go and copy and mimic and release this, that, and the other to look like all these other platforms, it's still not those platforms. You are creating reels, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're over here trying to find the mute button because you're muted, right?
Right.
Because they're still operating, even though TikTok is probably number one right now. Facebook is still saying, well, people are watching video without the sound. No, they're not, because we've all bought AirPods, right? We're
Exactly. And
nobody's
everybody's at
watching
home.
anything. Everybody's at home now,
People
so
are
guess
not.
what?
Well, I mean, at least in the peak of the pandemic, people were at home. They didn't have to
Mhm.
mute it because they were in their cubicle at work. Now,
Exactly.
you got a house full of people, but still,
Yeah.
no, you're right. Everybody's got
It's
wireless.
changed, and
Yes.
they're not changing with it. And the other
Well,
devastating part of the Facebook was the disconnect between businesses and their customers.
mhm.
Businesses had to immediately run to other platforms to stay connected with their customers in the pandemic. because they had to shut down. They had to go to pick up and delivery. And Facebook decided, Mark Zuckerberg and Cheryl, whomever, and they point to another guy over the business side, Facebook pages side. They decided to change Facebook Shops. They were trying to force you to use Facebook Shops as opposed to the partner platforms that you were on. So you wake up in a pandemic when you really need to connect with your customers and you don't have a shop.
Yeah.
Your virtual shop was gone. They did the same thing come Black Friday. I woke up Black Friday ready for my sale, and I literally had to switch platforms. Like, so instead of getting up and getting ready for the influx of customers, I had to spend probably about an hour or two moving. Oh, because I go to log in and it's like this part of Facebook is no longer supported. We moved over here, and I'm like, really? It was an easy transition, but I'm a tech person. I don't shy away from that. Imagine somebody else who had, all this merchandise and now they have no customers on Black Friday.
I'd just be like, what happened? Yeah. So no, and the fact that Facebook has become the primary platform for disinformation and in the pandemic. So you every opportunity to do something great, you failed. The opportunity to be horrible, you succeeded, right? So I'm with you. Facebook, and now there's a lawsuit against Facebook to break them up. They're like,
which is what
they're going to break you up. So I mean, I think that Facebook needs to get it together. Well, it's 229.
Okay, and one last thing to further get the heat off of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg decided she would introduce the new husband or fiance. I don't I thought they already did that. I was like, come on, right? So it was really horrible. But it was good to see that they were trying to go to another network because they had such an allegiance with CBS. But in this, it's like I wish they would get it right because they're too big to fail. They do need to be broken up. There are things on here that aren't working, and we need it because, like I said, we're too connected to it because we're in a pandemic and you got a family member posting what they need and you don't see that till a week later.
Yes,
because they control when you can see all of the content.
A friend of mine passed away and I didn't see it for weeks. Right. And it wasn't, when I say a friend, it was more than acquaintance, not a super close friend, but someone that I communicated with regularly on social media platforms. I knew them in real life. And I was like, why was this not, usually that sort of thing is right in there's a lot of engagement on the post. You're going to see it. And I'm like, why was this 2 weeks after the fact? Like literally I was like, what am I supposed to do? And it's like, there's nothing for you to do. You can't even really share it because everybody else is.
And what do people say? Well, I posted on Facebook.
Literally, I said the same thing as you, Yalanda. I'm like, why did nobody reach out to me personally? Why did nobody ping me to say, hey, our friend passed away, and very unexpectedly. And so, but I was like, well, they're all assuming I'm just on here, and then it's in my feed, and they're probably thinking, why didn't Angela post about this? So there is something there. And I know I personally have drifted away from I was on Facebook a whole lot more simply because I found this. They said they're just the issues I have. I'm definitely, if you want to engage me, come over on Twitter. I'm still engaging Facebook, of course. But, I'm a talker. So Clubhouse works for me. Can you talk?
I know.
I get to talk.
Just the resource, just hearing the different accents, just hearing the different, being able to go to the different regions and things like that. But let me give this Facebook tip though, guys. I don't know what phone you're on, but try to go to this page that has all the different options and scroll down to where it says see more and then select most recent. Okay, you really want to know what's happening on Facebook in semi real time.
I must need to change that setting. Yeah.
And you used to be able to set it and forget it, but like I don't even see it now. My most recent. Where is it? Okay, look, now I'm looking down there. Now here it is at the top. Most recent. Like, why is it moving around? And then you get posts just now. People who posted stuff just now.
Oh, that's excellent.
So that's what you want to do when you want to log in. Otherwise, you're going to read posts from yesterday, And
Mhm.
last week, simply
Well, and
because they
I feel
changed it.
stupid when I'm posting on somebody's like, "I'm in the hospital," and I'm like 3 days later, "Hope you're okay." You
And then
know,
they're
it's
like,
just,
I'm home.
"I'm home. I'm fine. It was
Or
nothing,"
worse.
right? You're like,
Or
"Well,
worse.
now I
Yeah.
feel stupid," you know?
All right. Well, we got to go. We're going to try not to keep you guys too long. Thanks so much. And we will do a couple of watch parties after this. For those of you that are on Clubhouse, our room, when we do open it, it's always Leading Women Weekly. Everything is Leading Women Weekly, including the hashtag Leading Women Weekly. If you want to check out other episodes that we've done, we want to also talk a little bit about what we got to go. Towards the week before Christmas, Angela and I have to decide if we're going to broadcast on Wednesday as we count down to Christmas as well. I hope everybody is have something to look forward to. Got to talk about
Yeah.
2021. I'm so excited about 2021. And I didn't get a chance to talk, but to say it. But last week, and Belinda says, "Love y'all. Want to do it." I know,
Love you,
Belinda, we're gonna go.
Glenda.
We got a chance to do our first pop up this weekend for the soaps. So I want to thank my family for coming out and working. Okay, working the family business. Angela, we had an amazing time.
I love that about your family, that you guys support each other in your businesses. You're a multi-entrepreneurial family,
We
and I think it's wonderful. That's great.
We definitely are. But I will tell you guys, let me tell you, going into 21, I've been playing around with these gifts that we did for Christmas.
Beautiful.
This is what we had at the pop-up, the boxes. This one's empty because all the soaps are gone. I only have a few soaps. I am having an end of the year sale. All the soaps are $5 to the end of the year. But I have this one. See this one right here over my shoulder?
Yep.
That's a three-tier gift box set that we will be
Oh.
delivering here in Atlanta. So if you have
Oh.
anybody that has a birthday, an
Oh,
anniversary,
that's
or
wonderful.
just someone you want to lather up with, there you go. You'll be able to order those. They will get delivered in 24 to 48 hours to the workplace, to the home. Beautiful gift sets. That's how we're going to scale the business. I want to wish everybody, as you guys are out there shopping, getting ready for your holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and let's get ready, y'all, for this new year.
Yeah.
Angela, have yourself a great rest of the day. Let's go play on Clubhouse, y'all, and after
Yes.
party, a
And
Clubhouse after party
find
coming
us.
up.
Find us, and let's have fun. Let's have a party.
All right, Belinda says, God bless the child that has it. Oh, yes, won't he do it? All right, y'all. Bye.